To get the ribs prepped, start by giving them a rinse. A lot of the times the ribs are cut using a saw, so there could be pieces of bone stuck in here. So a quick rinse under cold water and pat them dry with paper towel. I'm starting with a whole rack of spare ribs. These are back ribs. I'll show you guys how to trim them out, save money, because usually you can get a whole rack of spare ribs cheaper than a price of cut back ribs. So flip them over. First thing we're going to do is remove the chine here. It's this tough piece of meat. So if you just pull it up a little bit, get a good sharp knife, run it along the edge, and just trim it off. Next, trim the ribs from the rib tips. So the rib tips lie across here. It's a smaller bone that goes in here. It's still really good meat, and the easiest way to do this is if you just follow the bone. You'll feel a little notch. Stick your knife in. If you've never done this before. So again, you'll feel that little notch right there. Put your knife in. Then just continue cutting it across. So there, the rib tips are removed. You can check them out. Small little bones, pretty soft, really good meat to eat, and you're saving money by making one cut like that. To trim the ribs up, you want to look to where the meat starts to thin out down here. This is more for presentation. You could throw them on just like this if you're eating at home, but to make it look good, you want a nice pretty rack of ribs. So we'll go right in down here, cut it straight across. You got back ribs, St. Louis style back ribs. Just taking a quick peek, last bone here, sort of sawed in half. You can see the half there. I'm going to go in, remove it, take it off as close to the bone as possible. Keeping the rack of ribs pretty nice and square. The trimmed off rib tips, throw them in a bag. They're great for stir fries. If you've seen my McBurger recipe, you can do tons of stuff with these. It's great, and it's pretty much free meat. Or just toss it on the smoker, and it's really good like that too. Take off the membrane, start with a butter knife, find the bone, and just work your butter knife under the membrane here. Pushing it up a little bit, just getting it loose. Go down, do the second one. Then just grab a piece of paper towel, give you a nice good grip. Pull up on the corner. Oh, this one's going to be a pain in the butt. Oh yeah, third time's a charm, right? Flip the ribs over and take a peek. You can see we got some excess fat here, pretty good chunk. I'll trim that off, and there's a little bit of silver skin they missed, so let me clean that up. Once you have the ribs all trimmed up and looking good, sprinkle on a little bit of salt from about 8 inches from above. I only want to do like 1/3 to 1/2 a teaspoon per pound. So once you get a nice light coat in, just go in, press it down with your hand, flip it over, and get the other side. Ribs are all wrapped up. I don't know if you can see that, but you can still see the salt in there. When we pull it back out in a couple hours, all the salt will be dissolved. It absorbs into the meat, enhancing the flavor and increasing the moisture. So, place this in the fridge at least 2 hours. To get the rub together, start with 1.5 cups of turbinado sugar in a blender. To that, add 2/3 of a cup of paprika, 1/2 cup of granulated garlic, 1/4 cup of black pepper, 1/4 cup of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of chipotle chili powder, 1 tablespoon of dry mustard powder, and 1/2 tablespoon of cumin. Place the lid on and pulse it for around a minute. Once it's all mixed, you're left with a nice fine rub. Place it in a bowl. Check that out. Smells great. Today I'll be cooking on the big green egg filled with maple leaf, hardwood lump charcoal for a little bit of smoke. Got a couple chunks of apple wood and a couple chunks of cherry wood. Get your plate setter in. Place a shallow drip pan on the plate setter. Add 4 cups of water. Place the grate on. To keep an eye on the temperature, I'll be using the Maverick ET732 Ready Check. Clip that on. Got it right here. Shut the lid and get the temperature to 225 degrees. After a couple hours, you can see all the salt's been absorbed into the meat. Pour on a little bit of oil. This is just peanut oil. It's a binder to help the rub stick. Give everything a good coating. And place the rub in a shaker bottle so it's a little bit easier. And the rest in a Ziploc bag for later use. Give it a good coating. And just gently press it down. Smells really good. Flip it over. Same thing to the other side. A little bit of oil. Get a nice coating. Help that rub stick. Egg's almost up to temperature, so let's get these ribs on. Now how you place the ribs on is how they're going to turn out in the end. So you can push the end up a little bit, making this side a little bit thicker, the thin part here. Press this down on this side, keep it nice and straight. Shut the lid, let them cook. 3 hours in, here's how the big green egg's set up. Got the bottom door just barely cracked. Maverick says we're sitting at 223. Take a peek at these ribs. Check out that color. Still lots of water in there. Cook's coming along nice. Give it another 2.5, 3 hours. Ribs just off the barbecue. Total cooking time right around 6 hours. No sauce, just the dry rub. Slice into it, see how it looks. Let's dig in and see how they really look. Check the bottom out. Nice bark down there. It's easier to find the bones if you go this way. Quite the curve on these babies. Check this one out. Nice and juicy. I don't know if you can see that. Just dripping. Check the other side out. Some good ribs. Go in, give her a taste test.